Good afternoon, traders. It is March 7th, 2019, 2:05 in the afternoon. We're here trading in this very volatile market. I welcome you all who are here with us and those that have been with us this last week. We are doing today and tomorrow free for anyone who wants to watch this. You can ask any questions you want. Bring up your own stock symbols, things that you're invested in. Stocks that you might invest in, anything. We'll take a look at them for you. We'll see what we see, and maybe you'll find or have a diamond for everybody. So we always love sharing information and helping each other out. Currently, for those of you that have been watching for the last week, BPTH is a stock that our team got involved in about 3 weeks ago at $2. Quite a nice buy at $2. You can see it's $42 right now. It hit $73 today. So really, really nice profit on this stock. If you want to look at how our charts work, I can get deeper into this in the future, but I know a lot of people that are fresh to this don't really care about the nitty-gritty of how everything works. They want it to be easy. It's like a cell phone. I know how to use it. I don't necessarily know how the inner workings perfectly make things work. But what we have here in our system is up and down green arrows. We have a lot of other indicators, honestly, as many tools as you can imagine and constantly growing. But to keep it simple and easy, green means go, red means get out. And you can see with BPTH, our team saw this was a good setup a few weeks ago. We got in at $2. Some of us got out about $2.60, $3, because $2.60 was already 30% on your money in a few days. Got back in about $4.60 for another good setup and sold at $8. And some of us stayed in, and as you can see, it's $42 a share right now. It just depends, but let's take a look even right here. We'll go back to March 6th. This was yesterday. We're looking at 1:15 in the afternoon, and without even really knowing how the system works and all the fine details, it's pretty easy for someone to see who's been trading. This is stock candles. We have the average price of the stock based on, we're looking at the 1-minute chart. So each candle represents 1 minute of time. Well, you can see that the black RSI line has to bounce inside of this band that we have here. It cannot leave mathematically. So when it runs into the very low, we call it the lower danger zone, it is out of room. So when it ran out of room, the blue compass, which is our northern star, came across, and we got a green arrow. We have videos and training on all of this on our website. I can go deeper if somebody has a question. I will gladly. It only takes about 3 minutes to go through the basics, but I will have all of this linked this afternoon on our YouTube page. We have links for everything, so you can definitely check it out later. But what I'm interested in is hopefully making everybody some money and seeing what we can get out of this hour. But right here, green arrow, green candle, green flag. Green means go. You could have bought it 11:59. Okay, you're riding it up, you're riding it up. Here's a little red bubble. Could have gotten out here at 14, 11.55 to 14.55, $3 over the course of, just from following green and the first red symbol. We've got 1:15 in the afternoon to 2:03, 45 minutes, $3 a share. Not too bad on your money. You could have waited longer. One red bubble doesn't necessarily mean the moon is going to fall from the sky. But when you get your red downtrend arrow, you could have sold at $13.50. Not as much of a profit, but I'll still take about, not quite 20%, but let's just say 16, 17% in 45, or about an hour. So still very good profits from following a green arrow in, red arrow out. It falls again. Could have gotten in at 12.20. Back out at 12.10, lost 10 cents, but it's all about the wind. That's the way I kind of see stock markets. We know things are volatile. We know that stocks, even like we're looking at Apple down here, Amazon, down $43 today. Every stock, no matter how big or small, has its fluctuations. The whole point is reading the wind. If I'm on a boat and I'm trying to go to a tropical island because that's why I want to retire with my money, or buy an island or build it with a volcano, whichever, you want to know if you're going the right direction to meet your goals. So how do you do that? You have tools, you have math, you have instruments. You don't just have hope. If you just hope things will work out, they may, and I hope they do for you, but I would rather have some tools in place to help me get to where I'm going. It's just like having a car. You know, You can walk somewhere, but it's a lot faster with a car. So you can trade, you can use some news, you can use just stock twits and some buddies, but I like to have some tools, better tools to get me where I'm going. So I get in, I get out because the winds change. Okay, 12.10, get back in at 12.13, and now I don't get back out to 12.55. So that's 40 cents per share, 12.52. So it was really riding the line here. But if you followed it all the way through and got in, got out, got in, and you can see here's a get in and almost get back out, but another big trend started back to back. That's rare. And you follow this stock from 12.85 to 16.50, get back in at 16.09, 16.10. Wow, wow. And the next downtrend, even if you got down here, it's $29. Back in at 37, right back out at 38, back in at 32. You can see how this system, without even really understanding the intricacies of it, how not even using all of these other tools. We have these tools called the breaker to see if it's trying to break through a pattern, bullish or bearish. If it's going up and you're playing long, it's bullish, which is green. Bearish is red. We have loop. I'll just briefly jump into these. This tells us if more people are buying than selling. If green is on top, it's good. The green histograms going up, these little towers, that's just more people buying. It's pulling it up. Or red, more people are selling right now. It's pulling it down. These indicators all work within each other. I don't like any one thing telling me how to do something. I've been in IT for many years, and so if I go and I'm trying to learn something new and I just Google it, and I find a forum that tells me how to do something, well, that's great, but I'm working with clients' computers, or in this case, your own money, and you don't want to take the risk on one thing. It may be right, it may be wrong, but what if you look at 10 different forums and websites and they all say the same thing? Well, I feel a lot more confident this isn't going to cause an issue, and it's going to be a safer investment of my time or resources. So when I see tools that are green, this is actually called the forecast. If it's above the line, it's good. The direction it's facing is important too. So right now it's facing down, but still being above is good. We have a level. Think of a carpenter level. This is flat. If your stock is above the level and pointing up, it's going to be above the line. If it's pointing down below the level and it's kind of in a downward motion, it's going to go below the line. Pretty straightforward. And then here's your classic RSI, overbought, oversold. When something is right here, overbought, it's usually going to correct itself. So let's just see where that was. We have our overbought here, and it was at $42. We're at $39, so we could have sold when it was overbought and waited for a green arrow. That's just one thing. You could have just ridden it with the green arrows. What I like to look at is these big overboughts. Wow, right here. This was today at 10:19, just about 4 hours ago. You could have held this stock green, green, green. We call these lines at the top and bottom, for everybody who's watching, deviations. It's just math. 3 deviations, standard deviations. It's kind of like how far you can walk. You can walk 3 steps this way or 3 steps that way, up or down. And mathematically, you can't go much further without some kind of major correction and making room. We know a stock can go through the roof. Xbox One came out, Microsoft made a lot more money. They had been between $28 and $32 for 10 years. Then they started that train. They're over $100 now. They were undervalued for a long time, but you can tell that even though a stock can grow, it's very hard for it to grow insanely fast in a day, in an hour, without it having to correct some. So right here, this stock, these candles were the value of the stock. It went to $73 at 10:19 today. Beautiful if you had this. Anyone who was in our group had BPTH. We sold it pretty strongly, told everybody it looked great. I don't know if anyone stayed this long, to be honest with you. It takes a ballsy person or someone really following the charts real time. Oh, got some more people joining in, but they can catch up. But right when you are 3 deviations out mathematically, you're trying to beat the math. And you could beat the math for a short period of time, but not permanently. It's still math. So this is a good indicator of this is too much. It's gone too far. It's like Icarus, too close to the sun. Its wings of beeswax are going to melt. So you could have gotten out here. You could have waited for the red arrow, but look at these other indicators. We've got a level, which is way down. We've got RSI overbought. A lot of traders use RSI. We've got the forecast past its 3 deviations. And the goal of the forecast, everyone, there's some long-term traders with arbitrage tools is what we're looking at to read this. Forecast is one that a lot of people haven't been using as much as I hope they would. The goal of forecast is to make you the most money possible. It's to get in at the highest highs or get in at the lowest lows and sell at the highest highs. You want to use it in conjunction with other tools because it's very aggressive. But as you can see, this is past 3 deviations out. You could have started selling here. But when it starts changing direction, right here is when you can buy, and especially if it crosses back under that line, sell. You could wait till here where it's changing directions and get back in, and we can see how that flows up here at the top. You could have sold here right at the top, and it tries to forecast it. Wow, it actually told us right before it happened, 10:19, right before the drop at 10:20. So these tools, if used in real time, are extremely powerful. Yes, I'm going back and looking at these, and we can go to the real time here. If anyone has any questions, for those of you that just joined us, you can chat into the all participants chat. Ask for a certain stock symbol that you may be interested in. I'm glad to go over any stock. I'm just kind of going over some ones that we picked in the past show. We've been doing the simulcast for about a week now. Most of the people are Arbitrage members already, so they have all of these tools. They just may not be that comfortable using them. They may be at a certain level. But I can promise you it is as simple as this. Green is in, red is out. If you want more tools to check your work, you can see that I have a lot down below. We're using TradingView to put an overlay on this, but we have all of these different bands. I'm going to give you a little taste. Here's a much, much larger band, much bigger averages to let me know that this bouncing line, we call it the pulse, has to live inside of these gray tunnel. Well, it's still got room to go up. It's up high, but it's got room. We look for stocks that are running out of room for a good entry. For instance, let's pick up I'll go with APVO. This is one I actually just found on FinViz minutes before the show. It's had a lot of loss today. So what I like to look at is it lost too much? Is it's going to start correcting the opposite way? So let's take a look. APVO, we're on the 1-minute chart, and look at this purple pulse line on this very large band. So it takes a little longer to make that money versus looking at the small arbitrage band is what we call it. But it is in the lower danger zone. It has a lot more chance to go up than it does to go down. The candles, the price is 86 cents. That pulse is 95. And if I'm going too fast for anyone, please let me know. My goal is not to necessarily teach you every little detail right now. It's just to kind of show you the concept of how this works and how quickly you can read something. I can talk to you for, honestly, 2 hours individually about the pulse, about the apocalypse band, about all of these tools. But what I want to do is help you make some money. So what we're looking at here is, since this is down low, it is 4 cents away from its bottom and closing in. We're at 86 cents. The candles are going to come up to meet this. It might meet it at 90 cents, but that's still a profit. That's about a 5% profit almost for. And then if it has no room to go, the candles have to jump up. And we see on average with our tools, it jumps up to the mean, $1.25. Now, I don't know about you, but what is that, 8 times 4, 40% increase on my money, close to it, is not bad at all. So we are watching APVO for an entry. It's very much getting there. How do we tell? Well, look at this band. This is the much smaller arbitrage band. It's kind of running out of room. It's not out of room, but it is towards the top. Let's take a look at our next band. All of these bands live inside of each other. It's just math, and it's like, I think of it like a big brother. This band follows its big brother. This brother follows this brother. So I kind of try to take a look and see if any of them are out of room and have to go home. You know, it's curfew. They got to get home. As you can see, here's an example of a stock with its RSI line going into the lower danger zone. It has more chance to even out and to come out of the danger zone than it does to keep going down. So right here, the candles are actually at 86, 87, but it's evening out and trying to go towards its mean, which is falling. But what I like is that the big brother is fully almost out of room too. So we should see that go up to, maybe not quite $1.24, but definitely over $1 if it gets set up right. So we're waiting. We're telling our team to watch this very closely. It's got some support on the 2-minute chart. I won't bore you with it, but these charts have a timeline to them. We actually, let me show you right here. This is Slack chat for any of you that don't use it or have it. This is how we talk to our team. We have tons of channels. You can talk to everybody individually. Hey, what stocks are you in? What are you doing? What I have found is that the stock market is a scary place where one day you're happy as can be. It's like you won the lottery, and the next day you see just red, blood red, and all of your stocks, and you're, so it can be frustrating. But what's nice is when you have a support team watching stocks with you, telling you about good picks, telling you if they found some news or an 8K filing before you even see it in StockTwits. There is a whole community out there, and our community in arbitrage is full of a lot of really, really good people. When you sign up, you get your own room. You can invite whatever members you want into it. I actually have quite a few in mine, some interesting people, 27 members. Several are active throughout the day. We even have one of those members is a bot. This is really cool. So, yeah, you can rely on people, but where's that math at? Well, let's have a robot watching stocks that we want. You type in the symbol, tell it to watch it, and it tells us if a bearish breaker or a bullish breaker is about to happen. It even tells us target prices. What I have found is the age-old adage, buy low, sell high. Everyone says that. Makes a lot of sense, right? But how do you know when the low is? How do you know that 86 cents isn't going to be, that's not the low? How do you know it's not 50 cents and you just bought into a falling ship? Well, it's things like this math telling me, wow, it has almost no more room to drop. Maybe a little, but it has much more chance to grow. So if everybody wants to look at APVO, mark it in your list, even if you don't buy it yourself, watch this over the next couple of days. And let's see if we hit that 9. We're going to be watching this live on the show. We're going to be checking back into it today, tomorrow. And if we see just a beautiful entry, I go for it. I will honestly recommend my team to get about a half or quarter entry. What that means is we deploy different strategies. No matter what tools you use in the stock market, whether you're using somebody else's bands and formulas or you're using Fidelity, Ameritrade, and all of their great tools, that it doesn't really matter if you don't have good strategies. You need to diversify your portfolio. You need to, if this stock isn't perfectly set up and just beautiful yet, which it's getting there, by the way, people, this is not a bad setup already. Let's say I'm willing to put $1,000 in this stock. Well, maybe I don't want to put $1,000 in right now. Maybe I put in $250, a quarter entry, or $500, a half entry. That way, if it does go below or something unexpected happens or they have some crazy news come out that their CEO, I don't know, some bad news, then you can always average down. You still put that original amount of money that you were going to, the $1,000, but you got $500 here at 86 cents, and you got $500 in at, if it went down to 20 cents, something crazy happened. Well, you could average right down in the middle. And so you're definitely going to make at least better chance to get your money back or to make a better profit. What happens if it shoots up and you only put your $500 in and it goes to $1.25, $1.50? You didn't make as much profit, but you performed a good strategy that kept your money safer. If you do that across the board, spread your money out using strategies, and we have a lot of strategies that we use as a team. They're not exclusive to arbitrage. They're just good stock strategies. We know that people are at all different levels. Some people have been trading for years, decades even, and some people are just getting into it. Well, it's nice to have people that you can literally talk to and ask real questions and not wait for a forum or get some kind of loaded answer. Somebody's not trying to get you to buy because it helps them or sell because it helps them. We're not trying to do traps. We are giving our real advice. Hey, what do you think about options? Well, I've been trading options for this long, and here's something to watch out for. So I cannot stress enough how good this community is. And the bots, let me type in list. This is my room. People can add whatever stocks they want to it. And they've added, I think we're almost at about 30 stocks. That's probably why it's taking a second. We just did an update. Let me try to rush it a little bit. But CTWMC is one of those on the list. I'll actually go up. AVP, SESN, a lot of the people playing here, and they'll post their views. They see this stock. They see a lot of green bubbles. We are constantly helping each other and talking. Oh, we've got some more people joining. If we do hit our join limit, y'all are definitely welcome to stay. Make sure you log in a little earlier tomorrow. I don't want anyone to miss out, but it does have a cap on how many people can be in here. You can spread the word, but I recommend joining maybe about 10 minutes earlier tomorrow. We can get started on time. For those of you, let me jump back over. Here we go. We have someone saying taking profit on VIDU. And they even talk about they get support on the hourly chart. People are constantly saying get in, get out, take your 30%. You're not alone in the stock market when you're with arbitrage and when you're trading with Slack. For those of you that just joined, if you have any questions about what I'm talking about, how I'm reading this, I will definitely dive into any parts. I don't want to bore anybody with tons of details right now. I just want to show how easy it is to read these charts and these setups. And there's a million tools we can go into. If you have any picks that you want to talk about or that you want me to look into, APVO is, look at that. We have that blue compass line pointing up. It's trying to make some room and grow, which we like. Actually, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and take that position I was talking about in APVO. Small position. I'm probably going to do about 50% right now. That's already 87. I'm going to set my limit order for 86. I feel like we can still get 86. We're getting close to an oversold. The low for today is 79. Here we go. So this is me live buying on the show. I'm not actually pulling it up over to that screen. There we go. Feel free to do whatever you want. It's your money. But this is something that I'm recommending, at least is starting a good setup. I'm setting a limit buy at 86. We'll see if it fills. It's at 87 now. I may have talked too long, but it is overbought right now, so it's making room. So I might be able to get my 86. So we'll leave that be. We'll go back to Amazon. For those of you that weren't here at the start of the show, Amazon has had a $45 drop today. Very big drop for Amazon. But what we're looking for is when it turns around, and look right here. We were watching it fall. Blue compass, the true north of this stock is what the compass is. It started an upward momentum. It tested this RSI line, which was a little resistance, but it was at the bottom of its band. It has more chance to go up than it does to go down. So it broke through. We now have that as some support, and we have a green up arrow. Let's see if any of our other indicators are starting to turn green. Our level is still below this level. You see this green dotted line? That's your carpenter's level. So it's still below. RSI is still red. Forecast is pointing down, and it's below the line, but it's right at. So this is technically still not like in a perfect, beautiful setup. You can buy in just on the green arrows and get out on the red arrows, and you're usually still going to be good. But I like to get a really nice, I like to get 5, 6 different indicators saying green, green, green. Yeah, it may not happen until 627. I may not make as much, but I'm making a safer, smarter play based on more math and science. Everybody can play more aggressive or more safe. That is your strategy and your style. But you have the tools to do it now. You have tools that say, hey, I'm good with this indicator. I've learned this is all I really need. Or I like to have every single indicator possible. You're probably not going to get those highest highs and lowest lows, but you're going to average ups, downs, up, down really good. So we're going to come back to Amazon, but we did start an uptrend. We've got a little support. Let's look at that on the bigger chart real quick before we move on. See, the pulse is in the lower danger zone. It's about $5 away, not quite full $5 from touching. What's really nice, everybody, if we might see one today, they're not that common, but this pulse, this line, the purple line is falling, gradual fall, gradual curve, going into the danger zone, and that's still good for us because it's running out of room to go down. Good for us that are holding Amazon or wanting to get in at a good point. But if you ever see this line at a sharp just angle, it hits and deflects and bounces off, and if you can buy at that deflection point, I've almost never seen it not be a good thing, even in the short, especially in the short term. So we're going to keep an eye out for those. If we see one of those today, I will let everyone know right away. That's one of the benefits of being on the show live, watching this, is if we come across a stock that somebody brings up or that we find from FinViz or any of our other systems. We have daily picks, by the way. If you're in arbitrage, you get picks of the day. Thursdays is a 3 for Thursday. We have different kinds of stocks, whether you like swing trades, long-term investments, or penny stocks. We cater to everybody. Friday is the fall down Friday. So if you like to short some stocks, you'll get a Friday pick for that. There is a podcast every day. You can search the iTunes store, I believe, for Arbitrage Bands. It is a daily podcast talking about the state of the bands, what's going on, and it also has that pick of the day. So even if you're not a paid member of Arbitrage and watching the simulcast or being part of our team, it's free out there. We want people to make money, because the idea is if you make money off of our picks and you're happy, and happier people are happier in the world, but then you can say, well, you know what, I don't mind paying for this because it's obviously worth it. It is paying for itself, and that's the best kind of item. You don't want to ever second guess and say, why am I paying for this? This is a waste of time and money. It should stand out far and above that it is worth the money that you're putting into it. For those of you that need the link at the end of this, and you're welcome to watch this show tomorrow as well if you get in time, this will be free. You can actually do some homework and have some stocks ready for me. Shotgun them, throwing them at me. I'm happy to do it. But we'll move on. We'll move on to another stock for now. Let's take a look at IMGN. IMGN is a stock that we're looking at kind of on the 5-minute chart. It's got a green up arrow on the 1 minute, which is nice, but let's take a look at that 5-minute. This is a stock we picked last week with our team at $2.52 is when the room Pate entered in. And you can see that it is, let me clean this up, that pulse, purple line, is running out of room, and it looks like it deflected. We can zoom in there, but it deflected off of that line, and it's coming up out of the lower danger zone. Well, what does that mean? It's out of the lower danger zone. Well, it's not as beautifully set up as it was before, but here's something else. Let me turn on all the bands at once. Do you see how you can barely see anything? You see all these little colors all smashed together. That means it is coiled up like a snake. And when something is coiled up like a snake, what does a snake do? It strikes, at least 9 times out of 10. And I've seen it on so many stocks where these coil like this, and they strike, and when they do strike, they try to go up to the mean of that band, whichever band we're looking at and playing this coil right here. So 363, to go up $1 a share on a $2.62 stock, I'm happy with. This is a 5-minute chart, so what does that mean? What kind of timeline are we looking at? Well, right here in Room Pate, and it's free for everybody, but I've got it pinned so everybody can pick it pretty quickly. Here's our time scale. And if it wasn't there, or you weren't sure, if you were part of our group, you just ask, hey, what's this like? What do you see this timeline? Well, here's the minute chart. We're looking at that big, big band, the apocalypse, and we're looking at the 5 minutes. So we'll just multiply this. So we're talking about 10 to 30 trading days for that to strike. Now, it can happen sooner. We've seen stocks explode overnight that we pick. B-Box. B-Box is a daily pick. You can even pull up the Royce Wells Arbitrage YouTube page. It's just a quick way I search for it, but it's I'll actually link this to everybody. You can see that the proof is in the pudding. You can go back and watch these daily pick videos that were given every single day, and you could go back and look. But there was a 1-3 for Thursday, I think back in last July, and it was for B-Box. And it was so beautiful at that downward angle that, I mean, it just had to make money. We bought in. It went from 75 cents, which is what the daily pick was, up to about $1.50 in the first day. The next day it went up over $2 or $3. It was such a good profit for everybody, so I'm glad for everybody that got into it. We do have an education playlist. I'm going to put that into the chat. And, for any of you that wants a little more information and basics on how these bands work, because I'm not going to waste anybody's time on it now, this is 10 minutes of videos, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. I'm going to paste that in the all group. Feel free to watch that at your leisure. this explains very quickly how these bands move within themselves. Once you sign up, you do get a full lesson plan education system. It goes into more detail. These are constantly being updated. It's honestly wonderful. There's a lack of education out there in the stock market from what I found. You're kind of flying by the seat of your pants and hoping a lot. So to have a full team chatting with you constantly, answering questions, to have tools, training, and math on your side, I don't know how I traded before without it, to be honest. So also, we do have this is being recorded today. We will have this and yesterday's put up this evening. We're adding a little more flair to the recorded videos for all of you watching it. You can share that with friends and family, but I am going to post yesterday's for you, just so you'll have it. In room page, let's see, we'll go up. See all these bots telling us when to get in, get out, bullish breaker, bearish breaker. AMRH, 34 cents, got a bearish breaker or bullish breaker at 818. What is AMRH right now? What did Mr. Robot do for us? It's at 40 cents a share. Now, just looking at this right now, let's go to the 1 minute. It's pretty high on the deviations. I'm not going to fully break this down now, but my point is somebody thought this was a good enough stock to watch. Oh, thank you, Furious. It hit 42. A lot of us have made a lot of money off of AMRH because it flips. Sometimes it goes down to 22, 24 cents. A lot of us got in at 22 cents, sold at 27, got back in at 23, 24. It went down to 16 at one point. We made some good flips. But when a bot says, look, I'm seeing a bullish breaker detected. Here are some of your selling points as of at this moment. We could scroll down and look at that. Still bullish. The numbers are changing, getting higher. And you can just jump in there and watch it. Still bullish, still bullish. Look at that, 40 cents. To see a robot to tell me to get in at 34 cents, and it's still at 40 cents now, 6 cents, about 20%, especially at 42, is 20% profit in a single day. This system pays for itself. I've never seen a tool that has robots doing the work for me. You know, and you can get alerts on these. You can get messages that pop up beside your room. Furious, type in the word RGSE into paid traders for me. For those that you weren't here yesterday, that weren't here, you can actually set up, there it is. See that one? That means that somebody spoke about in any one of these channels that I'm watching, they spoke about a stock that I'm interested in. Look at that. We have to be clear because we're waiting. RGSE actually may be getting a buyout, possibly. For those of you that don't know about RGSE, it's one of the companies that we're actually trading on the fundamentals. They're winning tons of awards. They did delist manually on purpose to the highest OTC market, but they are a solar company that you want to talk about some volatility and fluctuation. Most of us got in about 32, 33 cents, and they shot up to 88 cents at one point. Massive increase. We are waiting for them to give their earnings report. We've seen about a 3-month mark. Some big news should happen, whether they do a sellout, get a big increase for our money per share, or if they have a really good earnings report, not this quarter, but the next quarterly earnings report, which I believe is, it's only 2 months after March, April, May. Yeah, it's May or June, second week, we'll have that next one. That's when we're seeing a really big number that we're hoping for RGSE. Oh, Furious exited at 42. That's awesome. And how would he know that? How would he know to get in and out? Well, we can just turn on these candles. Give me just a second. Okay. Right here. Green, get in, 35. Yeah, the bot told us we could get in a little earlier because it had a breaker detected, but you could have gotten out right here about 40. 35 to 40, 5 cents, let's say 15% profit just from following green and red arrows. So anybody who hasn't seen a system like this, or if you know of another one like it, let me know because I'd love to match them up versus each other and even double check the work more. But this is just so easy to read. I love it. What I want to go into, if no one has any questions right now, I'm going to just kind of show you spot check some of the other tools that are in here. You can view all of the sectors at once and see that, look, energy currently is bearish. across the board, 54% of the energy market is in a downward bearish trend. You can see a lot is bullish right now, which is good, trying to recover some. But the long term, a lot of things are still bearish in the long term, a lot of sectors. So it is nice to see from a single pane of glass. You can set up stocks on your watch list here. You can even set up SMS alerts. You can pick, I actually took my phone number out while I'm doing this broadcast, but you can pick your provider, SMS alerts. The whole point is to be notified. We're working, we're driving, we're going places. We don't have time to stare at these constantly. But look at this. TradingView is built in with Arbitrage. They're all intertwined. That I can make an alert, not just based on greater than and less than. I can actually make that it's, here we go. Maybe I'm going long. Maybe I'm going short. Maybe I want that exit. There's so many. Honestly, I could talk about alerts all day. Let's go to that breaker. That's what the bot told us about. You could say that the breaker is moving up by a percentage or is greater than. And these are being updated as well very soon. There are so many alerts that we could have an entire session about alerts and not be done. The idea is that you can get notified. I get text messages. I get emails. If the stock that I'm a heavy holder of, I'll set it to every time. So every minute, I'll get 80 text messages if I need to, so I can know, hey, I don't care what's going on in life. I'm stopping what I'm doing, and I'm going to check the stock, to sell it, to buy it, whatever. Oh, yeah, some people are talking about the PR with RGSE today. So started a conversation just on that little test. We got a bearish breaker going for TWMC. So I love these bots. I love this team. It's easy to talk about something that you love. Anybody have a stock that they're interested? I'm seeing a lot of people watching, which is great. I can talk for hours about and look through some of these stocks, but I really like when if anybody has a stock that they're interested in. AMRH would have made you good money today if you were in our system, 20% just on that one bot alone. You would have made 15% just watching the arrows. APVO, hopefully it fills back at 86 because we are looking to go at least into the low 90s and then just see what happens with it. Go through a couple other picks for you so you can see the proof in the pudding. So GNMX is a little longer term, but depends on your trading style. Money is money. We're going to look at the 1 hour chart. This can take 3 to 6 months for it to happen, but this is another example of coiling. Let me turn all this on. See these bands? They were all spread out, but you see how they're all starting to coil up together? This purple is going into a fine little tunnel point, and the yellow taking much longer because it's math and it's a much bigger scale. They are completely, I haven't seen one this coiled in a while. And when they do strike, it's going to strike up to the mean on average. Sometimes it can go higher. It can go crazy high. But this is what we see for a good, when you're trying to find what's that buy low and sell high. Well, the buy low is 20 cents, 20.2022, whatever. And you could set a sell for 95% of your stock at 65 and just leave it. You can set up alerts to know if it hit 40 cents, if it broke through, if this breaker right here is red, once it turns green. And so you can have bots telling you, alerts telling you, hey, start looking at this, action is happening. But you can already have your sell set. We highly recommend setting your sells, even if they're high, because you don't want a stock to spike up to $73 and you didn't get it just because you didn't think it was possible. Have some kind of sell limit set. It's really nice. You can make some money you didn't realize that you were going to make. But this is one of our picks, GNMX. It is longer term, 3 to 6 months. It can happen sooner. It is a penny stock for those of you that trade in the pennies. Well, we have a nice little tool that I have not seen anywhere else. I don't have to go back and wonder, is this about to be delisted? Do I have to go back and check and zoom? When was this $1? Yeah, in the 52-week range, it was $2.29. Well, here is a tool called the SEC Compliance Indicator, one of many, many reports and tools that you can get every day. And I can type in live a stock, GNMX, it has been out of compliance for 50 days. For those of you that don't know, we've got some more people joining now. They missed out on most of the show, but that's okay. We'll take some late people, show them some good stocks. 50 days. Well, once you get to the 150 to 180 range, they're usually going to have to get it back above $1. They're going to reverse split or sell options. They're going to do something to make that happen, or they can get extensions and up to 230 days. But so when I see 50 days, I'm not worried. Once I start seeing close to that 150, then I might go, okay, they only went up a penny or they stayed around the same, I'll sell. But for the option to go up 300% on my money, I definitely have already taken about a 50% entry of what I want on this. I'm going to look heavier at it later just because it's a longer-term stock. I like to have stocks that I can flip in the next 1 to 2 weeks, but it isn't bad to have some money makers sitting in the background waiting to explode. So GNMX, 300%, currently looking at that on a 3 to 6 month chart, but 300%. So next pick that we have here, we have ZKIN is setting up on the hourly chart. Some of these we went over yesterday, but I know we've got some new faces, and I'm going to hit these quick. You can see it's coiling, but not the same way. You see they're all scrunched together, but they're still a little dirty, but it does have a nice profit margin. It's $1.42 now. 230 is that mean. We have red is bad for the breaker, as I'm looking at right here. Green is good for the loop. The forecast is pointing up, and it's above its level, so that's another good. So we've got 2 goods, 1 bad. The level is up. It's pointing down, but it hasn't broken through the line, so that's still a good. The RSI is red, so that's a bad. So let's count those. We've got 1, 2 bads, 3 goods, and then we look at the chart itself. It's coiled. It's not a beautiful, beautiful coil, so it's more good than bad. It's definitely one of those ones that I like to take one of those quarter positions on. It's something that can explode up and make me about $1.90 a share on a $1.42 stock, but it's not like, oh my God, this has to happen kind of stock. So just that's one of those strategies I do. I do a quarter entry on something like this because I don't want to miss out, but I also don't want the fear of missing out. We call it FOMO. You do not want the fear of missing out on a stock to drive you to be one of the people buying at the top of a right before the fall. We'll go back to BPTH. People that don't have these charts and that are just going by news and information, let me clean this up. Well, today it hit $73. We talked about this earlier. Well, how do you know without these charts that this is 3 deviations up, that we have gone over and above 3 deviations of the forecast? The level is way down, touching the bottom, and it is oversold, or overbought, I'm sorry, overbought, way overbought. Well, without these tools, a normal person is just watching the stock, and they see it going up to 57. They're like, well, maybe it won't go any higher, 59, 64. No one wants to miss out. So there will be people, I'm sure there were people today that bought in the 70s, and it is now back to 37. And they are halfway out of their money, and they're stuck right now, and they're upset. Well, you don't want to be one of those people that has the fear of missing out is the reason you're trading. It'll save you sometimes. You could have gotten in at $12 because you saw it rising, but you want math on your side. At least I do. I want some tools when I'm putting my money on the line to say, get out, get in, get out, get in, stay in. Look at this. You could have ridden this stock from when we got in at $2 up to 73 and exited whenever you felt comfortable. So I love that some of our picks, even in the last week, have been very helpful to people. IMGN, I know some people got in at 252. I think Adam flipped it pretty quick, made like a 6-7% and maybe got back in. It's nice. Everybody's got their own style. ZKIN, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been AFH. AFH, it went up to 290 yesterday, and some people were able to get out there and make some good money. But just look at this. Get out at 271. Save your money. Get back in at 248. Get out at 258. Back in at 258. It's an uptrend. You know, the tides are changing, so you want to watch something. Now, okay, let's look at this. It went all the way back down to 248, 10 cents lower than the buy-in. We didn't get a downtrend arrow here. So technically, it did start a downward momentum. We didn't get a downtrend. Well, we have other tools. We have the bots telling us. But we had this fall low into the RSI. We had our level go below. You could have waited till right here where the forecast went below and the loop went red. I may be going a little fast, but the reason is these stocks, you want to have alerts set up. You don't want to play on just one thing. Most of the time, green and red will do everything you want, and you will make a lot of money just following these green and red trends. But I like to have all of these tools on and look at them in conjunction. You get all of these with the plan. You get, let me actually show you what you get just when you even start. This is called the novice plan. It may be called the novice plan, but this has so many tools built into it, so many features. It's incredible. So you get all 5 bands. Let me clean those up. And these are all customizable. All the colors are customizable. What you see as far as deviations, opacity, all of that is easily customizable. But when I'm looking at a stock and wondering, oh, is it out of a room on the big chart, 1 hour? Yeah, it's in the lower danger zone. I can see that. I need a little more information. Well, I can watch training lessons on this. I can talk to the team. I can talk to Joe during the simulcast, after in the trading rooms, and ask questions. You know, I had somebody ask me questions about a stock that they thought was a silly question, and it ended up making me a lot of money because they brought up a stock, and I saw it and looked at how beautifully it was set up. I then told my whole team, and it made everybody else money. So there's no stupid questions. You can ask about any stock anytime, anything that you're thinking or seeing. No one's going to ridicule or give you grief about it. We want knowledge and questions. So you get this breaker tool. It is customizable. You can change it down to, let me show you short term. Okay, DPW, thank you, Coleman. We can jump straight over to that and apply these to it. So DPW. So let's take a look. I personally haven't heard of this symbol, so this is going to be a fresh look. Whenever you've been moving around your charts a lot, right-click inside of TradingView and hit Reset Chart. It takes you back to the very front. It unzooms and scrunches in case you had that. So let's take a look. First thing I like to look at, everybody, is the volume. So this stock is, it's spread out, but 3, so 10 million average volume, 12 million today. I don't know why it doesn't say the million. Maybe I need to pull this out a little bit. There we go. I like that better. First thing I like to look at on the stock is the volume there? Is it at least over 400,000 volume? So I'm not in this low float stock that it's hard for me to sell. So this has got great volume. I like it. 52-week range, $1.5. So it's not unlikely that it can actually make some good money. It's been there at least before. Now, that doesn't mean anything by itself, but it, you know, if this was $1.05, it's not that much of a profit as $1.50. Okay, let's take a look at the next thing. Currently, our blue compass line is dancing with our momentum. It is even as far as math numbers, but it's technically just below it. Now it's just above it. Okay, good. I like it when it's actually more definitive, but it is starting a little upward momentum. The RSI black line is a little bit of resistance right now. It's at 89 cents, so we've got a little resistance. I'm going to zoom out and look at all of my different tools. Red is bad. Red is bad. Below the forecast. Level is up, and RSI is down. So technically, right now, there are more bad indicators for this than good. So I wouldn't purchase into it as of right now if I was entering. Well, let's look at a bigger picture. Coleman, I don't know how long you're planning to play this, but I'm going to give it a look just like I would. So one of the things I do is I don't turn on all these middle bands yet. I turn on my big apocalypse band. I want to see where it's at on the big picture. Now, we're still on the 1-minute chart. So that pulse, let me clean it up, it's right in the middle. It could go up or down. So it's not telling me anything definitively. Now, what I do know is that the pulse is 91 cents, or sorry, 0.091 cents. So that means since it's above where our candles are at now, it is resistance. If we get above it, it becomes support. So I've got some different resistances that I don't like, but let's look and see if we got some other nice setups. I will quickly jump through this I'm not going to explain every little step until I see something. This one, the orange line is the bouncing line, and it's right in the middle, so there's nothing definitive. I'll actually go through pretty quickly. You can ask me to slow down, but I'm going to try to determine if I see a good up or good down on this stock. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Okay, right in the middle. Let's look at our other indicators. Now, the 5-minute chart actually has a green breaker. The loop is green right now. The forecast is above the level, but it is pointing down, and it looks like it's right at. The level is just below. So for those you can see it, I know there might be a little screen lag, so I'll let it wait for a second. But the level is dipped below, and our RSI is bad. So we're kind of half and half on this one. It's not anything that's making me super excited on this chart, but we'll go out. I'm going to try to find a chart that I like for you, Coleman, if there is one. And then you can determine if that time range is worth your money. Now, don't get me wrong. When I look at these charts, doesn't mean that a stock can't make money or lose money. It is math. Is it more likely to make money go up or lose money go down if we're talking about playing longs? And also, what are those risk to reward ratios? I'd rather be in a stock that has a chance to fall 20%, but a good chance to go up 80%. That's what I'm talking about. I don't really care about a stock that's going up that's going to make me 1%, 2%. I want some actual return on my investment. Okay, hourly chart. It did go into the lower danger zone in a downtrend. It's out of it. It's got some room. Still got a lot of resistance. I'm going to be honest with you, Coleman. I'm not seeing anything as of right now, and I can always dig deeper. If you have been told that this is a good something or you've got some information or news, I can look at a certain timeline. But I went through the 1 minute to 1 hour chart, and since this is a less than 10-cent stock, I'm not going to go all the way out to the daily because that can be over a year. You can even look at charts that go up 8 years if you're looking at big things. Oh, yeah, no problem. You can ask me about anything. I wouldn't get into this right now. Here's some news. They got awarded some big contracts, so that who knows? It could be amazing for them. But mathematically, they don't have a reason that they have to go up. They have a lot more resistance right now than support. But this could be one to watch. If you liked it, you could throw this in your room and say, watch DPW. And I believe I have to do a colon. And I think we actually are doing the show right while they're updating these. It usually instantly confirms the watch. So I'm sorry that during the show, of course, that it wouldn't do that. But it works all the time. I promise you can see all of these alerts we're getting. People add things. Even today, I'll show you that. Some people in my room found some stocks they liked. Watch here. Watch EVLV, confirmed watching. So, and then instantly, they're getting alerts on where was that TM? I know we saw it a couple of times in here. We've got so many good alerts that you get to just pick and choose. Here we go. Bearish breaker on this stock. When to sell, when to set a stop loss. Beautiful system. But here's another thing I want to check for you. DPW, I'm going to see how long it's been out of compliance. 213 days. I would not recommend anyone to get into. Yes, that means they've got extensions, and this stock, being where it is, could go absolute nuts because to get back in compliance and to get the amount of volume and over $1 could be incredible. I didn't even check to see if it's the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. Now, if I was a risky gambler, I wouldn't be putting a large amount, but with Robinhood, which is what most of us trade on, we can you get free trades, so you don't have to pay commission fees. I mean, yeah, you could throw in $20, something like you weren't really investing, but if that contract paid off and this company went to multiple dollars, the amount of profit that you would make on the chance of losing $20 is cool. So, and there's different kinds of strategies, but no, I would not put a big investment in this, just based on the math, based on the fact that they are in their, this gets to 230 days, it's over and out. Now that just means it moves markets and, you can ride it long, but I don't know much about this company, but mathematically, it's not a safe pick right now. Doesn't mean you can't make money, but let's see what Josh is saying. seems to be doing a nice fluctuation between 9 and 12 of the last 30 days. Yeah. So you can even look at that. I'll even pull up. This makes it really quick and easy just to see a 5-day. Yeah, they've got ups and downs. So any stock out there, everybody, you can make money. Even 0.08 to 0.092 is over 10% or right about 10% range if you got at the low and the high every day. It's just not enough for the risk right now that I like. Oh, yeah, Blend, thank you for bringing that up. Let's go back to Amazon, see where it's at. Still 43 down, not 45, but let's take a look. We had a green uptrend earlier. Oh, wow, a lot of fluctuation. We last checked around here at 1622. We just hit post-market, but that's fine. If you have TradingView, the middle plan, it's like Pro, I think, you can have this EXT. Now, make sure you have this on, everybody, that has TradingView, that has the at least the middle or highest plan. It shows you extended hour data. So any of this after hours or pre-market data, it still matters. It still affects the computers because for those of you that don't know, 55% of the stock market is traded with computers. And it's based on their algorithms, which are probably very similar to this. So it's all about seeing the smoke before the fire and not trying to trade with everybody else at the exact price and trying to beat someone's ass. You want to see alerts and knowledge before it's happening, predictive analytics. So I'll get off of that. Let's see. We are in a green uptrend, Blend. We have a green loop started. More people are buying right now than selling, which is nice. The breaker is still red, and now my breaker is set to what's called the advanced band. It's this fourth band down. It's a yellow band, and it means that it hasn't quite hit where it needs to. But let's take a look at that real quick. It is starting to run out of room. It's coming into it. We are still getting low. And honestly, people, it's Amazon. They have a sale day and they go nuts and make a ton of money. So Amazon's not going anywhere. The world's going to be over. But as far as making your money, we did start an uptrend just now. We have the RSI is a little resistance. Let me zoom in here. The blue line is above. Let's take a look at the next band. See this orange line? It bounces along within this band. It started to run out of room, and it's evening and averaging out. So I don't see anything making this stock just go nuts right now, but we are starting to get some good indicators. We have RSI is green. We have forecast is good right now. Loop is good right now. So I have 3 good, 2 bad, and then if I'm looking at my band that we just had, we just started that uptrend again. So overall, this is not a bad entry point because in my mind, I've got 4 indicators that are happy, and it could just very easily go back to red, but if you've got enough money and you can day trade or flip or you just want to hold, now maybe you want to hold. Let's look at Amazon a little bit longer term. This is the 5-minute chart, so 5 times the amount of math and data and averages, but we are running out of room on the arbitrage band, so that is something to keep an eye on. It's still on a downward trend. Let's see if I see anything that just makes me really happy, like a lot of good support. So, because what's to say it doesn't keep dropping down to 1610 tomorrow? Oh, wow. Right here, we had some oversold, and it caught back up, but it's still red. Levels down. Honestly, even on the 5-minute chart, it's not perfectly set up. This is nice that it's in the lower danger zone, but it's easy to read into these stocks what you want to see. And I can go, oh, it's lower danger zone. It can't go any lower. Well, this band could keep making more room. I want to see this blue line meet the RSI, go above it, give me a green arrow. See, look, we had a green. Let's go back. People can read what they want. They can go, oh, look, it's almost out of room. That's true. It had to go above, green arrow, but then it went red right after just because that's what the stock was doing. You do not want to dig your heels in. You want to use the math and follow where the math is taking you. So I'm going to wait for another green arrow and more good uptrends. It did start it on the lower charts, so it is currently in a buy. If you're playing the short term and going to hold it, this is right now 4 good indicators. So hopefully that answers your question, Blinn. And everybody, it is 3:05. If there's anything in particular, oh yeah, no problem. Please join us tomorrow. We're same time, 2 to 3 Central Time. If you have anything in particular, any stocks that you want to write down tonight or in the morning, have them ready for me. I'll rapid fire look at these stocks, answer questions. I can go into, if you have any questions about what Arbitrage has, I'm not sitting here going to show you every single feature and sell you on everything that's great about it. It honestly sells itself. I've been using this for about 1.5 years, and I really like it. We did have one last thing. This morning at 8:52, somebody wants to look at the SPY chart. So this will be our last thing for the day. And we got a 5-minute chart. $8.52, $8.25, it might have been $8.25, but look at this. This is SPY. This is basically the market, S&P 500, and 277. Get a downtrend. You could have bought in at 276, back out at 277, and look at this fall. Back in at 275, back out at 275.64, and still out. So this is, you can see which way the market's going. I mean, this kind of tool system here to be able to look at, we even have cryptocurrencies. A lot of us play Ethereum, waiting for that. That's a longer 3 to 5 year. We're really happy about what Ethereum is going to do, at least what we're predicting. So, you know, if there's something you're interested in, hit me up, ask about it. You know, be here tomorrow. If you're here early, you can ask questions. You can stay late. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, but if there's any questions after the show, let me know. I'll send some links as well, and I will be posting this evening so you can go back and watch. It'll be on the YouTube page, which I'll post in here in just a moment. Thank you all for your time, and have a great